Hizi ni nguo hadi na hizi ni mablanketi.
2011 March, I think date 13 sitaja sawa. Saa 8 kubutuka nikapata sina mtoto. Na siwezi kuambia nani alichukuanga mtoi wangu na naita Lawrence Josiah.
I slept since Thursday till now. I can't.
Kijana yangu nikienda kwa barabara nipata mtoto anafanana na yeye. Nasikia vibaya.
Mothers waking up every day on nothing but memories, hanging on to hope and struggling to remember the little details of their missing and perhaps the most dearest ones. In our local clinics and even our most prestigious hospitals, trauma and devastation is exchanged for money.
Doctor did not want any of them to see the baby whom by now they had been told was dead.
Mimi sikufunua huyo mtoto. Ni daktari niambia nisifunie Morini, atakuwa asione hiyo uzo, yani atakuwa na analia sana.
This trend is underreported and only too little attention given unto it. It is the shame of our country.
I'm carrying miracle babies!
But for over a decade, Gilbert Deya fought extradition from the UK following accusations that the so-called miracle babies were the product of an elaborate child abduction and trafficking scheme.
Like all other women world over, being a mother is the most important thing in lives of Kenya's women. They will do anything for their children. But every year, dozens of children are reported lost or rather just vanish into the streets. From 25,000 Kenya shillings, some 60,000 and others 300,000 Kenya shillings. The babies here are just equated to any other commodity, sold to the highest buyer, leaving an unimaginable trauma behind.
Mama nilikuwa na yeye akaniambia kuna mtoto wake alinjifungulia hapa. Akaambiwa sasa venye alimaliza kunjifungua akakaa akamtisha mtoto. Akaambiwa hiyo ni kitu kilienda kitambo. Imagine aliniambia mpaka kaanza kulia.
Reports indicate that one of the most vulnerable group is the children from homeless and single mothers. It is estimated that over 60,000 youngsters sleep on the streets in Kenya. These are particularly susceptible to abduction. Many of broken-hearted mothers reach out to media and police in desperate search for their lost babies. According to a research done by BBC African Eye, illegal street clinics as well as informal settings are actively involved in purchasing and selling newborn babies from financially vulnerable mothers, particularly teenagers. There is actually a thriving world market for children in the streets of Kenya's capital, Nairobi, especially Kayole Street, which homes thousands of Nairobi's poorest residents.
What shocked us most is that this facility allegedly being run by people who claim to have been registered by a non-existent organization called the Association of Medical Practitioners. We do not have any association by this name.
There are dozens of unlicensed clinics in the area. They mainly have nothing much but delivery rooms for expectant mothers, and highly rumored to be hugely enhancing child trafficking. BBC's secret cameras capture a clinic operated by Mary Ouma. She claims to be a former senior nurse in Nairobi. Judith Kanaya, an undercover journalist from Homeboys Radio, who is working hand in hand with the BBC's African Eye, pretends to be a barren mother who needs to buy a baby. Not knowing that she was being recorded, Ouma spills the beans. Kanaya is informed that there are two women in the labor in Auma's clinic or are about to give birth. Auma is already trying to sell one of the babies to Kanaya, even before they are born. She points out to one of the women whose husband had left her and she wanted to sell her baby once born. The women are in too much pain, but no much attention is given to them. All that matters is their babies for sale. As soon as she sells their children, Mary sends the desperate mothers home. Mary does not only sell the babies, but also provides her client with fake birth certificates to identify the buyer as the legal mother of the baby. She gives a full package and the baby's true identity is erased forever. This ensures that the biological mother wouldn't come back claiming the baby.
Most of the clinics in Kayole, they do those business. They sell children. So there's a lot of underreporting, there's a lot of cultural issues, and there's a lot of long-term established cartels that are even protecting each other. One of the biggest reasons we have is we are Africans. We have the culture that to keep a marriage you have to have a child, and on top of that you also have to have a boy.
In 2019, KTN's journalist Hussein Mohammed launched an undercover investigations at Kayole Mamalusi Hospital, a busy facility that has been plagued with child trafficking allegations along with corruption and other accusations. The investigation also captures very poor conditions of maternity rooms, also gathering enough evidence that child trafficking was occurring at the hospital.
Hospital. So we are getting complaints of corruption inside the facility. Once we went down and did our investigations, we found that it is true that what most mothers were saying was happening in the hospital. Even filmed a nurse based in the maternity section telling us that there have been issues and there have been incidents of where children have been sold, where a couple has come and they want a child and the child has been sold. And the nurse on record tells us that, if you want a baby, this is how much you need to part with.
So you can verify that this is real and there are people who are doing it as a business.
When we posed as buyers asking to buy a child, the nurse was willing.
A clinical worker employed by Mama Lucy, his name is Fred Raparal, had a big job of protecting vulnerable children born at the Mama Lucy Hospital. In an occasion where he cannot find the biological mother of the child, the procedure indicates that he should transport them to a children's homes facility. But instead, he has been selling them to the highest buyer. BBC's African Eye infiltrates his network and finds out that Fred has children lined up for sale. From the way he is doing the business, it is clear to tell that he has done this for so many other times. Not knowing that he's meeting an undercover journalist, Fred tries to sell the child to this woman. She's given the name Rose.
What my story was, why I wanted a child, it was kind of an introduction of sorts. He is in Dubai. I had to make sure that he understood the stakes were high for me. Because I had not yet had a child.
After promising to think about the deal, Fred delivers the following day. The baby he agrees to sell is among 3 who had been abandoned by their mothers at the facility. It is a simple scam. The staff have no idea that a child is being sold $3,000 on stake. Fred knows that when a child leaves for children's home, chances are only slim that there will be any follow-up.
I was shown the child that I would get. It was a baby boy. And there were 2 other children, so there were 3 children total that we were taking to the children's home.
Then Rose is delivered a baby boy. After gathering enough evidence, Rose later delivers all the 3 children safely to the children's home. Here the children are in a safe haven, away from the hands of the child traffickers. In February 19, 2024, Kenya's police raided a house in Kayole, Nairobi, and rescued 16 children who they suspected was supposed to be smuggled. The children aged between 2 and 16 years included 6 girls and 10 boys. Police said they arrested a Kenyan and a Tanzanian national who were hosting the children in the February 18th Sunday night operation. It is believed that the children had arrived from different parts of Kenya and Tanzania and were headed to a known destination, of course for sale. The children were later taken to a private children's home in the area for care, ahead of investigations.
Burgess reveals Rose Boke's dual role.
These and many other cases, child trafficking in Kenya keeps on being reported, causing distress among mothers across various regions who have reported their children and toddlers missing.
Call it unnecessary interference. We have pastors, we have imams who are interfering. We have chiefs.
But where are the stolen children taken to? Sources indicate that some of the abducted children are sold to barren mothers, while others are tragically used in sacrificial rituals. The illegal trade exploits desperate barren women who do not want to follow full procedure of child adoption, only seeking fast alternatives to navigate Kenya's complex adoption laws. Child theft not only infringes upon child's inherent rights to parental care, but also constitutes a grave offense under purview of the law. Section 174(1) of the Penal Code states that any person with the intention to deprive a parent, guardian, or any person who has been mandated the lawful care of a child under the age of 14 years, and by harboring the child, knowing very well that the child has been taken away from a rightful caregiver, is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for 7 years. Section 20 of the Children Act reinforces the sanctity of children's rights, decreeing that individuals who violate Section 5 to 19 shall be liable upon conviction to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 12 months or a fine not exceeding 50,000 Kenya shillings, or both. But the fact is, these measures underscore the issue at hand. Undeniably, urgent and more stringent measures are needed to curb this distressing trend and ensure the safety and well-being of Kenya's young generation. The government, law enforcement agencies, and society at large must unite in a concerted effort to bring to an end to this heartbreaking ordeal and secure a brighter future for all Kenya's children. My name is Sam Kivuva, and I am Sam Kivuva Live.